All right, we are live recording another episode of the Elevate Media Podcast. Welcome back to the Elevate Media Podcast. I'm Chris Anderson, your host, and today we're doing this live. So you might be listening to the recording on the podcast platforms on YouTube, but right now we're doing this live, so it's gonna be fun. We got Tom Paladino today. He is going to be sharing some groundbreaking science that he has come up with, some healing methods through scalar light energy. He's going to showcase and show us some of his tools, his, I call it creation, some of his, what he's come up with. So he's going to share that on video. So if you're only listening to this, make sure you go to YouTube and you'll actually be able to see it. He's going to describe it the best he can as he's showing it, but this is definitely a more visual one. So excited to dive into this. I'm going to learn. I don't know much about this. We're all learning together. So Tom, welcome to the Elevate Media Podcast today.
Thank you, Chris. It's a pleasure. Thanks.
Absolutely. So yeah, what is scalar light?
Scalar light, it's very simple. It's sunlight or starlight. I've developed scalar light instruments that capture, that harness sunlight or starlight. Now, why is that important?
Yeah.
Well, light is fundamental.
Mhm.
Light dictates nature. And if you can harness scalar light, sunlight or starlight, you have a command over nature. And I mean every word of that. So this is a new technology that will allow us to access the free energy of the sun and the stars.
Okay. So this is completely brand new. It's not been done before.
Only with a few men such as Tesla,
Uh,
another man, Galen, Hieronymus, Thomas More. But the field, the scientific field is rather narrow. Why?
yeah.
It's poorly understood. I've devoted my career to this, and it's taken all that I have because there is no playbook, so to speak. There is no textbook.
Sure.
You have to learn it on your own. It's all groundbreaking.
Okay. So harnessing the sun, the stars, that light, why is that such a pivotal,
Yeah,
important piece of science and human and healing?
you're right. Well, instead of drilling for oil, digging for coal, or creating a nuclear reactor, it's much easier just to tap into the sun. That is the power plant of the future. The sun and the stars are the power plants that we're going to access. So you don't need to create energy. All you need to do is harness energy. Now imagine if we listened to Nikola Tesla over 100 years ago and we're harnessing energy today. Gone would be the fight over oil and natural gas and other, if you will, uh, elements, if you will, minerals. Gone would be the danger of many types of energy generation. Gone would be, if you will, the high cost of energy, free energy from the sun and the stars. This will liberate mankind.
It is interesting. So the free energy type thing, because I've looked into Tesla a little bit and what he was working on, and some might say it's conspiracies and things like that, but how he was kind of thwarted and silenced in that side of things. Do you think it's because there are powers that don't want this free energy?
Yes.
Do you think?
Yes. Precisely. Precisely. You hit the nail. If it's the energy from the sun and the stars, why not use it? Well, it intimidates some people.
Yeah.
That's it.
No. So with this, so what is? I mean, if we get this energy, I mean, you talk about the healing here from it, but also the power. What's the healing side of things? Where does that open up for people with this?
So if it's energy is responsible for nature. Energy is a first principle. Energy is the cause of nature. So if I look at this instrument behind me, I control that first principle. Now, when I work, I never work with a human being. I've never worked with a human being in my life. So hold on to your hat. I only work with photographs of human beings.
Okay.
So this is a new branch of science in which you do not have to be present. Your energy field receives the healing. Your energy field on the photograph represents you. Now, let me give you an analogy. We're having a conversation through StreamYard. You're not in my laboratory. I'm not in your office.
Right.
I am working through your image. You are working through my image. This is not one-on-one. I never work with people one-on-one. I work with their image, just like we have this sharing of our images through this video call. So it's a new branch of physics in which you don't have to be present.
Hmm.
Your photograph is your substitute. Your photograph is your bilocated version. So what you and I can do now by conversing through this video call, I can do through a photograph.
So what that's I mean, some people that could be pretty you seem pretty out there, right?
Yes.
Obviously they
Yes.
might have reservations about that. I mean, my mind kind of goes to, and I'm not trying to offend or anything like that, but you see people made the voodoo dolls and it's an image of someone
Yeah.
and they do something through that. I don't know if this is kind of along the same lines, but like, so what do you do with the image? So you have the image.
Yes.
And so what's the
All right.
workings you do with that?
Let me demonstrate. The
Sure.
instrument is on. I actually place a person's photograph inside the instrument. Now, this energy is so strong, if you will, I can illuminate a light bulb in my hand. So bear with me. That light bulb is influenced by this energy. And if I place a person's photograph next to this instrument, then their brain waves, their mind will be illuminated.
Hmm.
Remember, I'm not working with people, I'm working with energy fields.
Right.
That is a brain balancing. That is cognitive awareness. That will improve our memory by downloading this energy into the quantum field. Now,
Hmm.
does it work? Well, according to the people who've registered for our sessions, yes, it does work. People are very happy with this process. Now,
So what is that process like? What does that change for them? Like this, so they sign up for these sessions. What is the outcome? What is that the
first,
result that they get?
yeah, the benefits, the result is it's a brain balance. Many people say that their thinking is enhanced, their
Okay.
memory is improved. Some people say that that gives them a surge of energy. If I can illuminate a light bulb, then I can illuminate the mind. Others will say that this energy increased their dream capacity or their creativity has been enhanced. All of that is through energy. There's no, if you will, human action here. It's all divine action through this energy. So, what's the point? It's safe. I'm working with the natural energy of the sun to increase our cognitive awareness.
Interesting. So, what if some people were to say, it's probably just a placebo. It's
Yes.
just they're thinking that this is happening, so they're feeling different. Is there how
Yes.
can you, I guess, quantify the actual change
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
this versus just the feeling?
It's subjective. That's good. You have to see the endpoints before and after. And many people say after I work through their photograph that they're happier.
Hmm.
Well, that might be a hormonal bounce. Many people say that their thinking is clear. Others say that their depression is lifted. Well, what's depression? Well,
Mm.
it's improper thinking.
Yeah.
And what would scalar energy do? It will, if you will, address that improper thinking or address that emotional sadness, if you will. This is a new science, once again, and I only can judge by the results. Nobody's
Sure.
ever duplicated my results. Nobody has this instrument. So I have to move forward with testimonies. And the
Mm.
testimonies are the groundbreaking evidence so far.
So with that, so do people know when you're utilizing the machine in their image, or
Yes.
like,
Hey,
yeah, like, so they know you're doing it, so they think, okay, I'm gonna feel better, or is like you just do it and they're like, hey, I was feeling better this week, like it was crazy, and they're like, oh yeah, I had your picture with the machine, it was working, like so.
yeah. People will visit our website. They'll register for the 15-day session. And
Uh-huh.
in so doing, once they send us email, we only work with emailed photographs. Once we receive their email photograph, we send out daily email notices. We explain what we're doing so people can monitor on a daily basis how they feel. Many people journal. And the before and after is usually quite telling. It's usually quite significant before the scalar sessions and after. Now, it's pertinent that people take notes, I think. It's pertinent that people at least have some working knowledge of the before and after results.
Uh-huh.
This has never been done before, once again, and it's really up to the person to decide how they've benefited.
So with that, is it kind of like, so I'm in Indiana, so we go through winter. We don't get a lot of sun. It's cold. It's, kind of depressing, or it gets old.
Yeah,
So, and you go outside and get the sun finally, it's like it completely changes your mood and you feel better. Is that kind of similar to what you're speaking on, or is that a different with the sun energy? Is that completely different?
it's quite similar. Yes, because again, scalar energy is sunlight. And when we
Mhm.
absorb this naturally, when we go out into nature, it does elevate our spirit. Well, this is a
Yeah.
miniature sun. Here, once again, if I hold a light bulb in my hand, this instrument is so strong it will illuminate a light bulb. Now, imagine that illuminating my mind. That's a
Mm,
lot of energy going into that light bulb.
yeah.
So, to answer your question, this is a miniature sun and it has sun like capacity.
Okay. Because I know, I mean, when I get out in the sun, when I'm outside and I get, the sun rays on me, not only obviously the warmth, but it just, makes me feel better. And the same thing goes with, we've heard of grounding, walking out in the grass
Yes.
barefoot. I truly believe that there is, a difference when you walk with shoes versus barefoot on the ground. I truly, see a difference. I feel a difference. And I think it kind of has the same kind of energy. I think everything's energy, obviously,
Yep.
and the energy isn't created or destroyed, right? And so,
Yes.
um, with that, I mean, Tesla was big into that, right? And I can't remember the test he had, but it was sending the quote unquote electricity through the ground, if I remember correctly,
Yep.
to light up a light bulb somewhere else, so many
That's right.
feet away.
That's right. That's right. Tesla did that experiment in Colorado Springs in which he
Yeah,
planted light bulbs in the ground,
yeah,
and without any wires, he could illuminate the light bulbs in the ground. That was a very powerful scalar energy instrument. So he
yeah.
demonstrated that this energy is essentially omnipresent. You don't need a wire from point A to point B. The scalar energy, if you will, radius was quite enhanced.
Yeah, and I know I watched. I can't remember if it was MythBusters or another show where they recreated that Tesla
Yes.
experiment, and they had almost the same result.
Yeah.
Now, albeit it didn't seem like enough energy to sustain, like our homes and functions of that nature. But
Right.
with that, is it possible to get to that point? And what's holding us
Yes.
back from truly harnessing this? Say
Yeah.
instead of like obviously we have solar power. I guess that's
Mhm.
probably the closest, right?
Right. Exactly. What's holding us back? Just a lack of knowledge, a lack of understanding. Once we really delve into this new branch of physics, we'll realize that this is infinite energy. Energy from the
Mm,
stars is infinite. Now,
yeah,
once we can magnify, amplify that energy, then we could light up a city. We could light up the world with scalar
yeah.
energy.
Is it different than solar powered, solar paneled
Yes.
energy?
Yeah. Why? For the distinct reason that solar power is converted into DC, it's put
Okay.
into battery. Whereas
Yep.
we're not working with DC, we're working with a different energy spectrum altogether.
That's interesting. So how could we
Uh,
I'm just like, how do we harness like how would we light up and run our appliances
yeah,
through this? Yeah, because obviously Tesla did it without wires and things like that. So
yeah,
like I'm just my mind just goes like, how could that be
yeah,
structured to
yeah. I'm working on that. To answer your question, I'm working on that, and I hope I can achieve that within the next 5 years, where I can amplify this energy. And in so doing, once you amplify it, you can amplify it a thousandfold, a millionfold. Why? There's no die off, there's no
Mm,
entropy whatsoever. So the signal never weakens. So
huh.
once you amplify it 10,000 fold, that's not going to decay. There will not be entropy. You'll just have that enhanced signal 10,000 fold.
So the kind of the blockage right now is how they amplify it. Is that what I'm hearing correctly, or
Correct,
am I off on that?
correct, correct. And I'm doing some engineering. I'll have some experiments within the next 2 years. It's very sophisticated engineering. And once we can start experimenting in the next 2 to 3 years, we'll make great progress, I think.
Yeah. So do you think AI is going to help you with this process?
Yeah. It might and it might not, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because there is no bedrock of information that AI can work upon. So if
Sure.
AI did help me, it would have to be a computer program that would be able to extrapolate these ideas and to
Mhm.
think on its own.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. And I know because I mean, the AI is becoming self-learning and things like that. And if it could,
Yes.
see, my mind goes like to Jarvis type thing. If it could see your science and your creations and your, discoveries and things like that, I think, that could be pretty crazy. And then, you have the scalar energy power the AI machine.
Yes. You see where this is going.
Yeah.
Free energy. You don't have to drill for oil. You don't
Yeah.
have to create a grid system. There is no grid system here.
Yeah.
Tesla did not have a grid. There's no wires. There's no substation. There's no cell phone towers. The universe is the grid. The universe is free energy. That's the key.
Yeah. Do you think they had, and this is kind of, I mean, a big thought I just popped in my head. Do you think, we lost Tom for a second. We're going to wait till he comes back here. See if we can't get him back on here. But it's been interesting, guys. It's an interesting topic because, energy's out there with the sun. We have that. We can see the solar power somewhat, but we're, like he says, we're creating it into batteries. And we lost Tom for a second. We'll see if he hops back on here. Sometimes the internet's down. That's why we need the scalar energy, right? So we don't have to worry about these disruptions in the internet. But it is an interesting thought. I mean, if you walk outside barefoot, if when you feel that sun and how it changes how you feel, that energy there is really interesting. And I think we're all created to be have energy, and it's just an interesting topic. And I know Tesla did a lot with it. And of course, we don't know what happened there, or at least for the most part. So I think we got Tom coming back on here. Let's see if we can get him back on here at all. See if he gets hooked back on. If not, we'll take a pause and then continue this conversation. But it's been intriguing, and I mean, it just kind of shows, the grid can go down. It can cause disruptions because of just how it is. That's just, the nature of it, and we're used to that. But if we can have something like Tesla and what Tom is doing with the free energy from the sun and things of that nature, it's an interesting future that possibly we're pretty close to having. So I apologize everyone for the technical difficulties. To my team, we'll have to obviously edit this part out when we put it on re-put it on YouTube and the social or in the podcast platforms.
And this information can be
there
downloaded into our force
Sorry,
field,
Tom. I wasn't
aura.
hearing much.
So
I
to
just
be
got
clear,
you back,
this is not a chemical process. I do not work with chemicals. Rather, I work with scalar energy, force fields, energy fields. All of my work is non-physical information. That's the key to my work, non-physical information.
So non-physical information. So you cut out there for a while. The last thing I heard was you don't work with chemicals, and you cut out again. Okay, we'll try this. We might have to pause on this and recontinue when we get a better connection because we lost Tom again. So thanks. You got a sneak peek, everybody. If you're watching this live, we're gonna get this going. But here's just a sneak peek of this episode and what is gonna come from Tom on the scalar energy. So energy. We're going to try to continue this, but thanks for tuning in. And make sure you follow the Elevate Media podcast to get the full episode when it comes out. And look forward to getting the full thing done for you guys. So